Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about smart money price cycle. Within the few years I've spent trading with smart money strategy, I've discovered that trends, patterns and setups repeats in the market. This shows that if you can capitalize on these setups that keeps repeating in the market, you will be able to predict future price movements. So as a crypto trader, as a forex trader, as a stocks trader, if you can capitalize on these patterns that keeps repeating in the markets, you can predict future price movements and fortune can equally be made at the same time. Keep watching this video till the end because I will show you how to identify the different stage of price cycle and how to use them to your advantage. So if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing to this channel and be part of Born to Trade family. And if you have interest in joining my Telegram channel, I share free setups every new week. You can check the description box below. I have the link right there, and the link to my Instagram account is there. You can still follow me on Instagram. Now we have 4 stages of price cycle. As a trader who use smart money concepts, you need to be able to identify these price cycles. This is a basic topic, but I have to make this video for those that are still struggling to master this concept after the free mentorship I offer. So we basically have 4 stages of price cycle. The first stage is what I call the expansion stage. This stage is the stage where price moves away. So I know you don't understand, but when we move to the price chart, I'll show you some of these examples to help you understand better. The second stage is the POI identification stage. This stage is where you identify the zones you can trade from. It could be your order blocks, it could be your supply and demand zones. This particular stage is the stage where you identify your zones. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And we have the third stage. The third stage is what I call the retracement stage. This stage is when price starts to return to your point of interest. When price starts to return to your POI. When price is returning to your POI, you check how price is returning, if it's returning correctively, if it's returning aggressively. You still check if price is building liquidity. That stage is the third stage, when price starts to retrace back to your POI. And we have the fourth stage. This stage is the most important stage for me because this is where I usually get involved in a trade. This stage is what I call the reversal stage. Yeah, the reversal stage is the fourth stage and it's one of the most important stage for me. Before I start showing you some of these examples on the price chart, I want you to note this. You don't trade blindly using only these 4 price cycles. You need to confluence it with other smart money concepts like market structure, like your supply and demand of your order blocks, your imbalance, your liquidity, and many more. I already made video on some of these concepts, so you can check them out after this video. So let me show you some of these examples on the price chart. So what do I mean? The first stage, remember I said the first stage is what I call the expansion stage. You can see price rapidly expands out of a particular area. So when you identify your first stage, what will you do? You identify your POI stage. This is your second stage, your POI stage. It depends where it is. Sometimes your point of interest can be here. This is your POI stage, your second stage. So when you identify your second stage, you wait for the third stage, which is your retracement stage. Once you get your retracement stage, you now look for your reversal stage. You see, this is the 4 stages I just talked about right now, and I will show you some of the examples right now. And I want you to note what I said. Don't trade blindly. Confluence this with other smart money concepts. Remember I said you confluence it with your market structure. Check if you are in an uptrend or you are in a downtrend. Secondly, confluence with your imbalance. Identify your institutional candle if it has an imbalance. Check how price is returning back to your zone. That is retracement. Check how price is turning back to your zone. Check if price is building liquidity. All those kind of stuff. Remember, liquidity is like a trap to retail traders. Check if price is building those traps, and you can equally wait for confirmation when price return back to your zone before the reversal stage. And during the reversal stage, you still mind how you manage your trade. So the same thing goes to a bearish market. You know, this example is for a bullish market, but in this example on the price chart, I will show you both for the bullish market and a bearish market. Please confluence this with other price money strategy. This topic is a basic smart money topic that will help struggling traders master smart money concepts. So let me show you some of these examples right now. What can we see from here? Remember I said the first stage, you identify your expansion state. So you can see this was a rapid expansion. You can see it's expansion that broke structure. So you can identify here as your first stage, your expansion stage. And one thing you need to note is that your expansion should cause a change of character or a break of structure. Very important. I need to label this. This is your first stage. You can see it's the expansion stage. Price rapidly expand out of this area, so you map it out as your expansion stage. What are we going to be looking for? The second stage. What did I say about the second stage? The second stage is your POI identification, where you go to identify your points of interest. So this is our POI. Those that knows how to trade this strategy understand what I'm talking about right now. This is your POI, your points of interest. Your points of interest, like I said, it could be your order block, it could be your supply or your demand zone. So this is our demand zone. So this is our second stage. I'll map it out. The second stage, the POI identification. So it's like I'll change the color so it look a bit different. This is the second stage, the POI identification. Now you look for your third stage. Your third stage is what I call the retracement stage. This stage is the stage where you see price returning back to your zone. So you can see it clearly. After the expansion, you mapped out your zone. What next? You wait for price to retrace back to your zone. So this is the third stage, the retracement stage, where price is turning back to your zone. So we map it out, we still label it. This is the third stage, the retracement stage. Let's use a different color. Okay, the retracement stage. And what can we see price doing right here? We can clearly see that price is building liquidity. This is what you should train your eyes to see. You all understand what liquidity is all about. So if you don't know what liquidity is all about, you can go back and check out the video on liquidity so you understand what liquidity is all about. This retracement stage, you can see price builds a lot of liquidity, which is something I like. When you go to the lower time frame, the liquidity price built right here will be very important, and you use it to your own advantage if you know how to use it. So this is the third stage, the retracement stage. The retracement stage is when price return back to your point of interest. So you can clearly see its price return back to our stage 2, which is our POI stage. After that, what did I say? I said the fourth and last stage is the most important stage, because this is the stage where we'll be getting involved in the trade. This is where we can use our risk entry or our confirmation entry. So if you're still struggling to understand the types of entry, I have the video, you can check them out. This is the fourth stage where we get involved and we make the most out of the trade. So this is the fourth stage. I have to label it now. The fourth stage, which is the reversal stage. You can see it, the fourth stage, the reversal stage. And you can see this is very clear. When you start to identify price charts like this, you will see yourself being at the right side of the market, and you will get a clearer understanding of what is happening in the market. You will have an expectation. Just imagine you saw price rapidly expand out of this area and you identify it as your first stage. What will you be looking for? You look for your POI, your point of interest, where you'll be looking to trade from. When you identify your POI, you'll be patiently waiting for price to do what? To return back to your zone, because you won't be chasing price, because you already understand that price will retrace back to this zone. And when price returns back to your zone, you have an expectation that price will reverse and move back to that direction. And when you're waiting for price return, you will get involved in the trade and price will move to your direction. This is how it works. It helps you to be patient. It helps you to have an expectation of what is likely to happen in the market. I hope you understand why I'm making this video right now, because some people, after the mentorship program, they still ask questions. People still ask a lot of questions. So let's keep going. I hope this is clear and I hope you understand what I say right here. So let me shift this, because I'll use here as another example. So when you saw price move to your direction and you see price breaking another structure right here, you can see it clearly that price broke structure. You will see this, your fourth stage, that was the reversal stage, will change to an expansion stage, because you can see price expands from here, expands, and it breaks structure. So you will identify there as your expansion stage. The stage will change from the fourth stage to the fourth stage, which is, it turns to number 1, which is your expansion stage. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope you're still with me. You're not lost, right? Okay. Here turns to your expansion stage. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. You can see it clearly that price expands out of this area, breaking structure. So this stage turns to your expansion stage. After that, what are you going to be looking for? You look for your second stage, which is your POI identification stage. So you look for your second stage where you map out your point of interest. You see, the way I trade, I won't really consider this expansion because it wasn't clean, except I go to the higher time frame and see that I have a clean move. But for this example, I'll be using this for example. So I'll map out my second stage, which is my expansion stage. As you can see, this zone is too large. If I try to measure this zone right now, this zone is about 34 pips. For this lower time frame, it's a bit large. I can refine it down to these two candles. You can see I can refine to this candle, but since this candle wick is long, I can include these two candles. Reduce the zone, and you can see the zone is about 25 or 26 pips. So it's now okay. Now I identified my second stage, which is the POI stage, where I identify my demand or supply zone, or I identify my order block. So this is the second stage. The second stage has been identified. So after the second stage, what will you be looking for? You look for your third stage. Your third stage is what we call retracement stage. So you can see that after price expands, you map out your zone. Price did what? It retraced back to the zone. You map out that stage, which is retracement stage. Your third stage. I hope you're understanding it. Don't get confused. Just keep eye, calm down, listen to what I'm saying. You will really understand this, and it will really change your style of trading. It will make you to see smart money strategy in a different direction and dimension. It will help you master this strategy quickly, because it seems some people are still lost after the mentorship program. So this is a third stage. Price retraced back to the zone. And what can you see during this retracement stage? You can see that price built liquidity. You can see it. Price built liquidity right here, which is something I love seeing when I'm trading with this strategy. You can see it, that price built liquidity. If you don't know what liquidity is, price gave this first touch, the second touch. You can see try to give the third touch. After that, it swept the liquidity, taken out the whole money right here before it tapped into our point of interest. So when price tapped into our point of interest, we start looking for the fourth stage, which is the most important stage for me. The fourth stage, which is the reversal stage. So what can we see when price returned? Price reversed and moved to the direction, breaking what? Another structure. Can you see how simple the strategy is? You don't need to start stressing yourself thinking, man, smart money strategy is hard to understand. It's not hard to understand. This is just the simple price cycle. This is the market cycle when you trade smart money strategy. Sometimes it might not look clean like this. Sometimes it might look a little bit different. But this is exactly what smart money concept is all about. When you confluence it with market structure, with imbalance, with liquidity, and many more, with demand and supply, all those kind of stuff, you will see yourself understanding smart money strategy the more. So let's keep going. Let me show you some of these examples. I hope you love what you're seeing, and you will practice it after this video. So if you are still watching this video, please like the video. It helps the video get to more people. So what can we see? Price moves to the direction. So when price moves to the direction, normally we should be identifying our first stage, which is this expansion, our second stage, which is mapping out zone. So if you try to map out zone here, we have three places we can look to map out our zones. You see, it's three places we would have looked to map out our zones, and we expect a retracement. After the retracement, we look for the reversal. But unfortunately, what can we see? We see price breaking this higher low. This is why I said you should combine this with market structure, because when you combine with market structure, it's going to help you understand what the trend is talking about. So we got this change of character, and I hope you understand what change of character is. Change of character usually tells us that the trend is about to change. So what can you see? Price reverse breaking this low. So this is equally an expansion that gave us a change of character that broke price lower, which tells us that the trend has changed, and now we should be looking for our supply zones. We should be looking to short the market. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You can see it clearly that price expands lower, so you can map it out as your first stage, expansion stage. So here is your first stage, because price rapidly expands lower, which tells us that the trend has changed. So when we got that expansion that moved lower, what are we going to look for? We're going to look to map out our stage 2, which is the point of interest stage. That is your POI identification, where we'll be looking to identify where we're going to trade from. Let's say price broke lower. I would have looked to map out my point of interest. Firstly, would have been right here. Secondly, would have been this zone. You can see, but you can see price didn't return back to those zone. So price came here. After here, price rapidly moves lower. Let me shift this so you can see clearly. After the price moved lower, and when price moved lower, so I can move this my expansion stage, because there was a retracement before price moved lower. Here would have been my expansion stage. I've labeled here as my expansion stage. So after the expansion stage, I look for my second stage, which is the POI stage, where I look to map out my points of interest. So here was a very good supply zone, which I've loved to trade from, a good supply zone. So let's map it out, our second stage, which is the point of interest stage. After this stage, what do we see? We see price retracing back to that zone. After price expands, we map out our zone, we see price retracing back to that zone. I hope you can see this circle clearly. This is how it works. Very simple. Price returns back to the zone, and as price was returning back to the zone, you see price building liquidity. Some of the times you might not see price building liquidity, you might just see a clear chart, price will just return back to your zone and react. Sometimes you don't see that, but for these examples I'm showing you, see price keeps building liquidity. It keeps building those traps that retreat traders will always fall into, and you see them taking their money before they still move to that predicted direction. So this is the third stage, which is the retracement stage. You see price retracing back to your zone. So when price retraced back to our zone, we got, here was where we got the fourth stage, which is the reversal stage, where we'll be looking to see price reverse and move to our direction. So let's map it out, the reversal stage, which is the fourth stage, where we see price return back to our zone before it's now moved to our direction. But what can we see here? We see price gave us a little reaction. So if we took a trade from here, it would have been a break-even trade, or let's say you would have made a little profit, or you would have lost. It all depends on how you manage your trade, because we can see price reversed a little. It went up to grab some liquidity. This was caused by a news or something else. I don't really know what happened right here, but we see price moves higher. It's mitigated something here, or it's grabbed liquidity. You can see price expands lower. The overall thing you need to understand is price respected strategy. It's, even though price later spiked above the zone, you can see price later moved to our predicted direction. So when price moved to the direction, this gives us the first stage again. It gives us the first stage, which is the expansion stage, because you can see price rapidly expands, and when it expands, it did what? It gave us a break of structure right here. Remember, after we got the change of character, you can see we have changed direction. We are now in a downtrend. This is how this strategy works. This is very simple. This is what you can train your eyes to see in the market. Each day you move to the price chart, and remember, this works on all time frame. People keep asking me which time frame is the best. Guy, no time frame is the best to trade this strategy. It works even on the second time frame. It all depends on your accuracy, on how you see the markets. So this gave us the first stage, the expansion stage. You see, we started again. It gave us the fourth stage, which is the expansion stage. So for me, the way I trade, when I saw this expansion stage, what will I look for? I look for my second stage, which is the POI identification. So I would have loved to trade from here. This would have been my first zone. The hidden zone right there would have been my first zone. As price didn't return back to that zone, I have a second option right here. You can see that we have a second stage right here, which is the POI identification. We mapped out that supply zone, the second zone right here. So this was the second stage. We map out the second stage. After the second stage, what do we see? We see price return back to that zone, which is the retracement stage. You see price retracing back to that zone. So it gave us the third stage, and you can see this particular example, it didn't build any liquidity we could target. No liquidity was built. You can see it was just clean price retrace back to the zone. After the retracement, what do we see? We see price reverse and moves to our direction. That was very clean and very simple. So another thing I want you to note is you can see that price spiked above our zone before it reversed to our direction. Remember, this is the first stage, the reversal stage, where price reversed to our direction. This was the first stage. Price reversed back to the direction which completed the circle. You can see the circle is always complete. Once it gives you the first stage, the expansion, it gives you the second stage, the POI identification, it gives you the third stage, which is the retracement stage, and it gives you the fourth stage, which is the reversal stage. The circle is always complete. Another thing you need to note is why I told you to use other confluence to trade this, because if you use the entry, because entry is one of the confluence we use, entry confirmation is one of the confluence we use while trading this strategy. If you try to use the risk entry, it's very clear that you would have lost the trade, but if you used the confirmation entry, I'm telling you the truth, you would have made money from this particular trade. They have made money from this particular trade, because when you scale down to your lower time frame, you would have identified here as your low, and there was a break of structure which gave a change of character. That trend was about to change, and you can see price went lower to tap into this hidden zone. Can you see that? Go down to your lower time frame, you see that very well. You see, this strategy is very simple. I hope you can see what just happened. The examples I showed how it was and how sweet it was to trade with this strategy. Man, this strategy, once you want to trade with smart money strategy, you need to have patience. You need to wait. Waiting is one of the secrets I use in this strategy. I wait a lot. Sometimes you might map out your zone and price might not return back to that zone. It happens. I have to tell you the truth. Sometimes you map out your zone, price don't return back to the zone. It keeps going, but you need to follow up price, look for the next and nearest point of interest and trade from there. And sometimes price might return back to your zone and you see it spiking below your zone or above your zone before it reverses and moves to that direction. So I would advise you to use the confirmation entry, because using the confirmation entry will really help you avoid those kind of spike at our zone. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Combine it with other smart money concepts and make sure you backtest this. Don't trade it on a live account without backtesting it to see if it actually works. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Don't trade without backtesting. Backtest it, see if it works. So thanks for being part of this video. This is still me, Solomon Wisdom, aka Born to Trade. So if you have interest in joining my Telegram channel, you can check the description box, and the link to my Instagram is still right there. I have very low followers on Instagram, so please follow me on Instagram and consider subscribing to this channel. Be part of this Born to Trade family. Expect more videos from me. Always visit this channel for more videos. Thank you very much. See you next time.